The next chapter of the audiobook, The Go Giver, is full circle. That afternoon, the mood was somber. On the seventh floor of the Clayson Hill Trust Corporation, third quarter was coming to an end, and all Joe's colleagues were doing the same thing he was. They were trying to conjure some last minute miracle to bring in just a little more business, or in Joe's case, a lot more business. But that business had not arrived. Carl Collarman had called to confirm the bad news. Neil Hansen had indeed been awarded the Pat contract. Joe called the big kahuna, and Joe had not. Joe sat at his desk gazing thoughtfully at his empty coffee cup while his co-worker began pulling on their coats and snapping their briefcases shut. It was already after 5. Whatever else they might accomplish would have to wait for October and fourth quarter business. You want to come in off that ledge and talk about it before you jump? You looked up to find Gus peering at his from his open office door. Joe gave a half-hearted laugh and motioned for his friend to join him. Gus took a chair by Joe's desk while Joe fiddled with a pencil. Well, Gus, I just lost the account of my career and blew my third quarter number. I am not even sure what will happen to me now, and the really weird thing about it is, while Gus listened, he pulled his meerschaum from a vest pocket and poked at it. The weird thing is, of course, I feel bad, but not as bad as I should. I mean, I never actually tried to get Pinder's help on this thing. I never even brought his name up to the card collar man. I suppose I screwed up big time, but if I had to do it over, I think I had do the same thing. You know, he looked up at the clock on the wall exactly 1 week ago. Right at this moment, I was asking you for Pinder's phone number, and now he sighed. Patience, I guess. Gus pulled a small silver lighter from his pocket, put the meerschaum between his teeth, ignited the lighter with a soap stick, and held the flame to the pipe's hard, white clay bowl. He puffed a few times until the pipe was well lit, then leaned back. The man was actually smoking a pipe right here in the office. Gus winked at him. Just a few puffs. He drew on the pipe, then held it away, peered into the bowl, and poked it with his forefinger. You can't measure your success by whether or not you get the account. That's not the point. No. What is the point then, Gus? Gus took another puff, blew 3 perfect smoke rings, and watched them fade away, then knocked the pipe's content out into Joe's trash can. The point is not what you do, not what you accomplish, it is who you are. Suddenly, Joe felt like crying. I know it is just. He looked up into Gus' face and was struck by how much his kindly expression reminded him of Pinder's. It is just. I hate to sound so pragmatic and mundane, but what good is all that if it doesn't generate any wins in the marketplace? I could be a saint and starve there. Joe cast a forlorn glance around the office, looked up at the clock, and suddenly sat bolt upright. Ah, the last law. Gus raised his eyebrow. I am supposed to apply the law of receptivity. The key to giving is being open to receive. But how am I supposed to do that? How do you go about being actively open to receive? Because I will tell you, Gus, I am already open to receive. Honestly, I mean, I am really, really open. He sighed and hung back in his chair. At least I thought I was, but it looks like the only thing I am receiving is the short end of the stick. Gus leaned over and put his hand on the Joe's shoulder. Don't worry, Joe. He stood up. Worrying about it does no one any good. You have had a long week. Go home to your wife. I will stay and close up. Something in Gus' manner made Joe's shoulder relax, and he felt his black mood dissipate slightly. He gave his older colleague a wan, tired smile. Thanks, Gus, but you go ahead, I will get it. Gus shook his head and went to his coat. You are a different person than you were a week ago, Joe. You know that? He walked to the elevator, pushed the down button, and turned back just as the door slid open. Although this Joe was already inside there too, just not quite visible yet, he smiled. Good night, Joe. Night, Gus, and thanks. Alone in the office now, His eyes closed. Joe sat quiet. He could feel the daylight ebbing. Time to close up. He slowly got to his feet. He ambled over to the coffee urn, dumped out the shallow, bitter pool of the late afternoon coffee, removed the discarded, the cool, dump ground, rinsed out the big metal cylinder, and began to wash the area around the percolator with his wet paper towel. As he watched the cup drying and stacking them neatly in the cupboard, he thought of Rachel and her illustration view. He felt an odd smile of contentment bubble up from inside and spread over his face. He stopped moving and listened to the quiet stillness in the normally busy office. What was it he was feeling? The quiet felt almost as if it were alive, motionless but listening. It felt. How would you describe it? Receptive. The phone rang. Joe swirled to stare at it, then at the wall clock at 6:15 on a Friday. He picked up. Hi, is this Joe? It was not a voice he recognized. I can't believe you are still here. I'm sorry, have we? Joe couldn't place the voice. No, you don't know me. Name is Hanson, Neil Hanson. Ed Burns gave me your number. Who? Ed Burns? Referred me? Are you sure you? And then he remembered Ed Burns, the competitor, whose name he had given to Jim Galloway. The phone conversation Monday, his first day of homework, give more in value. Wait, Joe stammered. The Neil Hanson that got that account with. Listen, the man sounded frantic. I am in real jam. Joe couldn't believe his ears. The guy who had nailed the BK account without breaking a sweat and our competitor, referred by yet another competitor, was now on the phone with Joe because he was in a jam. And Ed said, it was long shot, but I might as well give you a call that you might know someone that you would given him a great referral. I have got a guy about to call me back who works with the huge account. I am talking seriously huge, and he is in a major bind. This account's lost their supplier and they need someone fast because they have this major thing lined up. Who is the account? Joe asked. He heard the man pause on the other end. You won't believe me when I tell you. He told Joe the name of the account. For a moment, Joe couldn't breathe. It was a name next to which the big kahuna would seem no more than a minnow. This was not a big kahuna. This was a humongous kahuna. Joe felt dizzy. What do they need? He asked faintly. Hang on a second. It is them calling now. Neil Hanson clicked off the line for a moment and Joe paced on his he waited. After 10 or 15 of the longest seconds Joe had ever experienced, the voice came back on the line. Okay, now they are hanging on a second. Alright, here is what we got. They are buying 3 international hotel chains and consolidating them all under one roof, rebranding them with a strong emphasis on business conferences and resorts, and kicking the whole brand off by relaunching a luxury cruise line they purchased as part of the whole package. Get this in 3 weeks. Joe was afraid to ask, and okay, last minute, they lost a critical concession. The supply people they were working with started getting funny with their pricing structure and finally had to pull out. None of the other suppliers we have tried to put them together with can possibly meet their scale or their quality standard. None of the other guys are big enough, and frankly, none of them are good enough. Whoever can make this happen is gonna be sitting on an amazing package, but I can't find anyone who can pull it off. Not on the scale, price, and schedule. What is the concession? Joe almost whispered. The other man's voice came back with a defeated, tired Friday afternoon tone. Premium top shelf coffee. I am talking hundreds of thousands of customers. I am talking high, I mean mega high quality at impossibly high volume. 3 weeks. Nobody is come close. Joe took a long, slow breath, then sat down slowly in his chair. He smiled. You know, he said, I just might know someone.